Annually, I usually post my search for my new favorite Christmas movie. I used to rewatch the same ones every year, and I thought a better way for me to keep the tradition alive and fresh was to watch new ones instead. This year, however, I haven't been watching anything Christmas, so in place of that annual video, I've collected up all the snow and Christmas themed books I've read this year that were waiting to be recapped anyway. If you hear a title you do not want spoiled, please skip ahead or click away, and any trigger warnings I can think of I'll put in the description below. Book 1, The Christmas Tree Farm by Laurie Gilmore. I gave 1.5 out of 5. This is the third book in a trilogy that, to my knowledge, does not need to be read in order. I had the other two on hold, but after reading this one, I've learned that this author is not for me, so I've canceled those holds. I was hoping for Hallmark vibes, which, at the beginning, I got. A woman buys a farm and realizes it's a Christmas tree farm. The house on the property needs a lot of work done, so she opens up the farm to make money for the repairs. She's a mild Grinch about it, but in comes the guy who was walking his dogs on her property. They end up hanging out and then having sex, an annoying amount of annoyingly graphically detailed sex, and it killed my brain. Yet another one that is way too sexual for me. Remember when the Target book section was full of end-of-the-world type books? I miss that. Now it's just porn. Book 2, In a Holidaze by Christina Lauren. I gave 2 out of 5. This sounded like the plot of a Hallmark movie, so I chose this one, but unfortunately, it's too sexual for my taste, but oh well. It was an okay read besides that. This is a time loop story morphed into the summer I turned pretty story. May's always spent her holidays at a cabin with 2 brothers. Sounds familiar, right? I kept forgetting which brother's which, so I'm not even going to try and use their names. She's always liked one brother, but makes out with the other one and regrets it, making a wish for her to find what makes her happy. She wakes up and she's headed to the trip again and keeps reliving the holiday trip, getting stuck in a Holidaze. She doesn't make out with the brother she doesn't like again, but she connects with the one that she does like. She ends up having sex with him, and that feels morally wrong to me when you don't know if time is gonna loop and he's gonna forget it. I don't think she does that until her last time, luckily, but she doesn't know that it's her last time when she does it. They also don't really have chemistry. She thinks sexual thoughts about him a lot that are unnecessary, says she likes him. He's like, oh wow, I like you too, and then they fuck. It's just lazy writing. Give them something at least. Afterward, she tells him about the time loop and he gets dressed and makes her leave. It all feels gross. Good example of why you shouldn't have sex with people so fast. You could be repulsed by them right after. She cries and goes and makes a painting, I think, some art piece of them as an old happy couple, and she gives it to him, which is such a sad thing to do when he just told her to get out after having sex with her. She runs off crying again, and when she gets back, he has her favorite candy and says he wants her in a closet. It flashes forward 6 months and they get engaged. I'm a bit annoyed at how often books these days are labeled as romances when the only romance was her painting that was done in desperation while he was being an ass. It's sad. This is a tragedy. It's not a romance. And sex isn't romance. Ugh, someone give me better romances that are actually romantic. Book 3, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Ernshaw. I gave 3.5 out of 5. A book from Sally's perspective taking place right after the events in the Nightmare Before Christmas movie. Here, the couple are newlyweds and travel to Valentine Town for their honeymoon. At first, I thought it may be a Valentine read, but it moves on from that fairly quickly. I kept thinking I knew what the book was going to be about, and then something new would happen, which made me enjoy it a lot more. Kept me on my toes. When they return to Halloween Town, everyone keeps coming to Sally with their issues, and she's now queen. She panics and wants to hide, much like Jackson when he becomes mayor of Stars Hollow. Sally runs away to the first place she can think of, Valentine Town, only everyone's asleep and covered in sand. She travels to the other holiday realms, meets a leprechaun, but for the most part, everyone is asleep. She returns to Halloween Town where everyone is now asleep as well, apart from Zero. She ventures off looking for answers and finds a hidden tree door to a place called Dreamtown. In Dreamtown, there's lots of sand and also 2 rag dolls, her parents. She learns that Dr. Finkelstein hadn't created her himself. He had kidnapped her from Dreamtown as a child, which is such a dark backstory. Her parents tell her that Sally had accidentally released the Sandman and he's been traveling to all the realms stealing dreams. They lock her in her childhood bedroom while they destroy the trees to the other realms. She breaks free and confronts them for not only trapping her in a room, but now trapping her in Dreamtown away from Jack, her husband. Girl can't catch a break. Sally explains to them that she knows how to stop the Sandman, something she learned in a book in the room she was trapped in. They show a sliver of remorse and tell her there's a passage in their library to the human world that she can use, but they'll be sealing it shut as soon as she passes through because they don't want to risk the Sandman coming back through. Dr. Finkelstein was obviously horrible, but her birth parents aren't looking too great either. She passes through and makes it to Halloween Town to make a potion to put the Sandman himself to sleep. Only he's already there. She makes the potion and sets a trap for him, but he surprises her by sneaking up from behind, and Zero comes in to help save the day, shoving him into the town fountain where she's poured the potion, causing him to reluctantly but surely fall asleep. Once the Sandman is asleep, the townsfolk start waking. Sally tells Jack of what happened and he wants to meet her parents. They go to the human world and are trying to get to Dreamtown where her parents show up, saying they don't want to lose her again and left the passage open to see if she could really defeat the Sandman. At this point, I wouldn't even want these parents, but they reconcile. Back in Halloween Town, the Sandman wakes up, only now he's a lot more cheerful. Turns out he just needed a nap himself to dream up his own dreams, but his own sleeping aids didn't work on himself. They make a deal that in exchange for Sally giving him the recipe to the sleep potion she used on him, he'll no longer steal other people's dreams. All holiday towns decide to start having group meetings and to work together instead of separately. Jack sentences Dr. Finkelstein to 100 years of community service in Dreamtown, and for Sally to have full access to his lab and herb garden as she needs, which really doesn't seem that harsh of a punishment for someone who kidnapped a child and wiped their memory. Sally and Jack wander into the forest and find a whole lineup of trees to ancient realms like Father Time and the Tooth Fairy. The endless travel destinations excites them. It was a fun book. It was cool to see Sally's character growth from hating and hiding away from being a queen to fully embracing it and saving her people. Number 4, An Idiot Girl's Christmas. True Tales from the Top of the Naughty List by Laurie, Notaro. I gave 2 out of 5. This is a collection of short stories of bad Christmases. It's written in a comedic style, but a lot of what happens is truly horrible and it makes it hard to enjoy. Overall, not a fan. Parts were funny and then it would keep going to the point that it's not funny anymore. I'm not really sure who the target audience for this is or what the tone was supposed to be. Number 5, Missuk's Snow Geese by Anne Renaud. I gave 0.5 out of 5. I didn't choose this book chose me. Really though, this came through my shop and I figured I'd read it. Luckily, it took about 10 minutes because, ew. I'll just say that I don't think children's books should be about hunting, no matter how loosely it's brought up. Book 6, Sally's Lament, I gave 3 out of 5. A retelling of The Nightmare Before Christmas, unrelated to Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. This one is written as if it were Sally who had come across Christmas Town instead of Jack. It starts much the same as the movie. Halloween is finishing up. Dr. Finkelstein doesn't allow Sally to participate, so she sneaks out and wanders off, coming across the holiday realm trees. She ventures into Christmas Town, discovering its wonders. Everyone is nice, down to a fault. They're seemingly forced into being nice. Little boys are playing with snow and bonk Sally with a snowball, which summons Mr. Jingles to arrest the children for not being nice. There's a talent show to find the best toys to ride on Santa's sleigh and be given a human child. Sally jumps on stage, doing her Halloween dismembering routine, and causes chaos. A Christmas doll named Abigail steps in to help Sally get away. They quickly bond and trade dresses. Sally returns to Halloween Town and tells Jack, who insists on going there himself. He doesn't want to be in danger alone, so she agrees to accompany him. They ice skate and have hot chocolate. Soon they find out Abigail has been arrested and they go to save her. They find Abigail among other prisoners where Mr. Jingles has taken the naughty people in town and locked them away with a coal monster named Soot Fang. Soot Fang goes to attack Jack, so Sally distracts him by tearing off her head. Soot Fang cries, seeing people like him, and backs down. They agree to take him back to Halloween Town with them where he'll belong in exchange for setting the prisoners free. He agrees. Mr. Jingles confronts everyone, but his guards end up turning on him. Santa overhears the awful things Mr. Jingles has been doing and banishes him from town. He thanks Sally for helping, and Sally convinces him to take Abigail on his sleigh even though her leg had broken in captivity. Sally and Abigail have heartfelt goodbyes. They have heavy lesbian energy, but the author didn't let them pursue it. Sally and Jack return home with Soot Fang, who is immediately welcomed by the people of Halloween Town. Sally tells Dr. Finkelstein that she's moving out and brings Soot Fang as backup to ensure her easy getaway. It flashes forward a week and Sally's already moved into her own apartment and opening her own store called Patches and Potions. Things move fast here, I see. She tells Jack she wants a kiss, and they do just that. The epilogue takes place at Christmas, and Abigail is in a box waiting for her child to open her. She's feeling anxious and worried that this was all a big mistake, and maybe she should have gone to Halloween Town where broken dolls were appreciated for being scary. Her human, Miranda, opens her and squeals with excitement for the doll having hair and eyes like hers. She then points out the leg brace on Abigail, and Abigail thinks that's it for her. The child will get rid of her, but the child cries tears of joy and says that she has a leg brace just like her. Abigail realizes that Miranda's leg is also in a brace and that she is perfect for her after all. A perfect doll for the perfect child. Most of the book was too stretched out. This could have been fine 100 pages shorter, but I still enjoyed it. That epilogue brought a tear to my eye for sure. Number 7, Hour of the Pumpkin Queen by Megan Shepherd. I gave 2.5 out of 5. The sequel to Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, written by a different author, is something going on with the rights to this franchise. 3 books recently came out, all by different authors, and 2 share a storyline. It seems odd. The acknowledgments here mention Megan was asked to continue Long Live the Pumpkin Queen's story directly by Disney. I did enjoy the author's writing from Long Live the Pumpkin Queen a bit more than this one. This installment has a simile in what feels like every other sentence. It gets to a point where that's more annoying than artistic. If you turned it into a drinking game, you'd die before finishing the first chapter. That aside, it was an okay book. I didn't hate it, but it was pretty cheesy. Here, Sally is trying to unite the realms. She suggests possible exchange programs and meetings of the leaders of each town to figure out how to share some traditions and not bump heads. The Tooth Fairy has it out for Halloween Town due to all the candy, and a person of Thanksgiving Town baked all of Halloween Town's pumpkins into pies. Sally would rather everyone find a way to get along, so she finds it important to understand where to share and where not to. She visits her parents in Dreamtown, where a young ragdoll named Luna is shadowing them to help learn to be a better writer. Sally suggests she come along with her instead to get some real-life experience to help improve her writing, and Luna agrees. Together they try to perform a spell for everyone at the All Realms gathering, but something goes wrong and they're transported out of Halloween Town. The spell had been tampered with. They find out in the Land of Time that the Halloween Town clock has been broken, which makes it hard for Sally and Luna to find their way back to the present Halloween Town. At one point they make it back, but the town has been demolished, and all that's left is a letter from Jack saying that they searched for years for the two of them and haven't held a Halloween since their disappearance. They visit Father Time along their travels, and they meet a dragon named Scorch. Father Time explains to them that their clock is broken and they're missing something that can bring it back to the present. They confront the Tooth Fairy, Halloween Town's most obvious rival, and find the stolen artifact they need, but also make the realization that she didn't break the clock. Scorch actually did. She uses a magic mirror to see the past, and has this confirmed, only she also sees a mysterious figure pulling Scorch's strings. Scorch panics, but then explains he was only trying to be a hero. Heroes destroy monsters. Halloween Town is full of monsters. Therefore, ending Halloween will make him a huge hero. He never wanted to ruin the town or its people, only end the holiday. He explains that the hooded figure she saw was a prince, and he's the one who tampered with the spell Sally and Luna performed. Scorch doesn't know anything more, though. They return to the Tooth Fairy and ask for the artifact they need again. She says here in Tooth Town they trade for things they want. Scorch offers one of his fangs, something very valuable to the Tooth Fairy since dragons don't lose teeth naturally. She agrees, they make the trade, and Sally, Luna, and Scorch return to Halloween Town. Scorch becomes a member of Halloween Town, even though he's a friendly beast. Sally has the idea that he'll be the one who stays back and protects the town on Halloween Day when the rest of the townspeople are in the human world. A job that used to be Sally's, but now she's finally ready to be a part of the holiday. Her parents have been trying to convince her to become the mayor of Dreamtown, but she declines and suggests Luna do it instead, which they agree is a promising idea. The prince is still a mystery, but Sally and Jack make it a mission to find out who the mysterious prince who's trying to destroy their town is, and to put a stop to him, and the book just ends. They clearly set it up to have a sequel. I wonder who the third author will be. Number 8, The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I gave 2 out of 5. I liked this one for a while, and then it started to drag on, feel repetitive, and get boring. I think I have 2 other of his books in my to-read pile, so I hope that's not just his writing style. In this, an older math teacher shows kindness to another woman one Christmas by inviting her over so she wouldn't be alone. In return, several years later, that woman leaves the teacher a house in Ibiza. Once there, she meets someone who shows her things, and there's a weird time travel, parallel universe element to it, where the friend is assumed dead in this reality, but she sends a message that she's fine from another. That all was fun, but the math teacher is constantly doing math in her head, and her thoughts all feel preachy in the way of Ishmael, which is another book that I did not enjoy. Everything felt like it was said at least 5 times. This was a bit of a chore to get through, unfortunately. That's all I've got for Christmas and ice-themed books this year. I hope your holidays were merry, or your plain old days were if you don't celebrate. Welcome to 2026!